Good evening, Zimbabwe. This is Cheng Radio News. Today is Monday, April 21, 2025. The news read by Rutendo Chinzara. Here are the news headlines. Zimbabwe needs a national water management plan. Migrant care workers in the UK face mistreatment. War veteran calls for protest against the government. And now for the news in detail. Zimbabwe needs a national plan to manage its water resources according to the Community Water Alliance CWA. Hardlife Mudzingwa, the national coordinator of CWA, said having a good plan is very important for using water wisely. He mentioned that the plan should consider the different needs for water in the country. Without this plan, it will be hard to manage Zimbabwe's water resources effectively, and the people will continue to suffer. Currently, all cities are experiencing severe water shortages. This is causing many diseases, including cholera. Migrant care workers in the UK are being treated badly. They often work long hours, live in poor conditions, and are threatened with losing their visas if they complain. Many have paid a lot of money for their work visas but still face mistreatment. This shows that migrant workers are very vulnerable, and unions are asking the government to do more to protect them. Although the government has tried to shut down some bad employers, many workers are still without jobs and support, showing a lack of safety for them. Chen Radio spoke to a UK-based activist, Patricia Chinyoka. Let's hear her speaking.
Migrant healthcare workers in the UK have faced a lot of challenges, and I think one of the biggest challenge was being recruited from overseas, paying large sums of money, that is thousands of pounds, for those jobs, arriving in the country and realizing in shock that there was no work, they didn't have any hours, and that these employers were making money out of these desperate workers. But on the 9th of April, new rules for recruiting care workers from overseas in England came into effect. And this is requiring employers to prioritize recruitment from within the UK before seeking overseas workers. So employers cannot sponsor a new overseas worker unless they can demonstrate that they have tried to recruit from the UK and failed. And so what it means is that for all of those migrant healthcare workers out there without jobs, they have a good chance of getting employment, but there's been so much suffering that has happened, and some of those migrant healthcare workers have returned home after having spent thousands, sold their homes, sold their properties to come into the country. So we hope that going forward there's going to be a lot of positive change for the healthcare workers.
Blessed Runesu Geza has called on Zimbabweans to start an indefinite stay away from work and daily activities beginning tomorrow. He demands that the action continues until Mr. Mnangagwa is removed from office. Geza claims that Mnangagwa and his business friends are stealing public resources and should be arrested by either the security forces or citizens. This call for action is part of a power struggle within the ruling ZANU-PF party, where there is fierce competition between Mnangagwa and his deputy Chiwenga. Change Radio spoke to Mr. Ganya. Let's listen to him.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, viewers, good evening, listeners, good evening, everyone. And thank you, Change Radio, for giving me this opportunity to say something about the stay away that is or shutdown that is being called by Comrade Geza. We respect him as a Zimbabwean citizen. We might have different views, but we do respect him as an individual and his desire to liberate the people of Zimbabwe. We, however, have our own different view on the issue. Shutdown, yes, as long as it is power given by the people, we support. If it is power by the same people that have taken power at some point, then we also have a different view. Remember, this is a shutdown that seems to be supported so much by military. We are not military. We behave in civilian rule. We behave in the people power. We need sustainable political change, not change that is shortcoming. This is very quick and very urgent, but the question is whether it is sustainable, because it's moving from one military camp to the other military camp. We want to give power to the people. We want everything that goes on in Zimbabwe, whether it be change or whatever, to be grounded by the people, not individuals. Thank you.
Zimbabwean citizens in the UK on Independence Day held a march in solidarity with political prisoners and marched to number 10 Downing Street to demand justice, electoral reforms, and the release of political prisoners like Blessed Mhlanga. Chamisa, a young female activist, says the struggle for a free and fair Zimbabwe continues. A recent video showed a police officer in Harare accepting a bribe to release a vendor she had arrested, revealing troubling corruption within Zimbabwe's law enforcement. Our reporter gives us more.
The officer and others like her are targeting vendors, arresting them and then demanding money for their release. This pattern of bribery and abuse of power shows a serious problem that reaches from high government officials to the police. Such corruption harms the justice system and society, making it difficult for vulnerable people like vendors to feel safe and respected. This ongoing issue not only creates a cycle of injustice but also destroys public trust in the institutions that are supposed to protect citizens. Reporting for Change Radio in Harare, this is Machahan Kamlandapa.
Activists and citizens are speaking out for Blessed Mhlanga, who has been in prison for over 55 days for reporting a story. Many believe his imprisonment is unfair and a part of plan to silence voices in the media. This is not just a problem with the law, it shows how some people want to oppress others. Supporters promise that they will not forget his case and will continue to fight for his freedom. The trial of trade unionist Robson Chere, Samuel Genzi, Namatai Kwekweza, Emmanuel Sitima and others continues to April 29. This follows their abduction from a plane last year, torture before prosecution, and they are being charged with disorderly conduct. Citizens are demanding a just and efficient trial and for change force to show support at the cause. The High Court is resentencing former death row inmates after the death penalty was ended on December 31, 2024. The court is reviewing the cases of 39 prisoners, including 12 serious murder cases. One of them, Bernard Majandu Mucheka, set fire to a room and killed his ex-girlfriend and their 3 daughters. He will now serve 4 life sentences. Another inmate, Bernard Chiwenga, was given life in prison for raping and murdering a 14-year-old girl. Also, siblings Fred Dure and Tinkwell Moyo received life sentences for killing a taxi driver and a shop owner during a robbery. In Ward 22 Nkulumani Blawayo, local leaders are working hard to solve problems faced by the community. They are organizing the neighborhood by connecting with residents street by street. The group wants to listen to the people's complaints and needs, and together they aim to find solutions that will improve their lives. Their goal is to bring the change that residents want and make their community better. National Youth Task Force Councillor Bruce Moyo is leading the mobilization. Weather report for tomorrow. The rain is expected to clear in all provinces tomorrow. In international news, The U.S. Embassy in Zambia has issued a cautionary alert to American citizens regarding a newly enacted cybersecurity law that mandates extensive surveillance of electronic communications within the country. The law allows authorities to intercept phone calls, emails, texts, and streamed content to determine whether they contain any critical information. A term defined so broadly that it could encompass a wide range of activities. The embassy is urging individuals currently in Zambia or those planning to visit to remain vigilant in light of this intrusive legislation. Rwandan President Paul Kagame has a strong message to African leaders. Let's listen to his message.
And then you have fools leading countries and being used as puppets, and they are stealing from their own resources which they should be putting to the good use of their own people and develop them. They just billionaires in a sea of poverty, millions of people going hungry, and their leaders, billionaires, money that has been stolen from the resources of these people.
Pope Francis passed away today, Easter Monday, April 21, 2025, at the age of 88, at his residence in the Vatican's Casa Santa Marta. The Zimbabwe cricket team started their Bangladesh test tour on a high note, restricting the host to 191 all out on day one of the first test match between the two sides. On day 2 at tea time, the Chevrons were leading by 22 runs after losing 6 wickets. Sean Williams was leading the scorecard with 59 runs from 108 deliveries. In the EPL, Marshall Munitz's Wolverhampton Wanderers edged past Manchester United by a goal to nil, exerting pressure on the Red Devils manager Ruben Amorim. To end the news, here are the headlines once again. Zimbabwe needs a national water management plan. Migrant care workers in the UK face mistreatment. War veteran calls for a protest against the government. That concludes this news bulletin. Thank you for listening. From myself, Rutendo Chinzara, and the entire team at Change Radio, have a good night.